Welcome to my coding school. This is section 3 of Nodejs tutorial for beginners. So here we are going to examine the differences between Nodejs and then the browser. So here, both the browser and Nodejs use JavaScript as their primary programming language. So building apps that run in the browser is completely different from building a Nodejs app. So even though these two platforms use JavaScript, the way that we build applications is quite different because this Node.js simply runs outside the browser. And then here we have the runtime running within the browser. So with JavaScript, you can write applications for both the front end and the back end. So these apps can be for web applications, they can be desktop, or they can be simply applications that run on mobile phones. Here, what we mean by the front end, these are simply applications that users interact with using the UI, and then the backend, they are simply applications or servers that power the client applications that feed them with data. For example, in the backend, that's where you authenticate users, that's where you connect to the database and other external APIs that feed your client applications. So the difference here is the change in the ecosystem. So in the browser, most of the time, what you will be doing is you will be interacting with the DOM. So the DOM is a document object model, the representation of an entire page, a normal HTML page. So you will be interacting with it. For example, you'll be working with the forms and other things like buttons and so on. And we also have other web APIs that are available in the browser, for example, cookies. These are used to store data that is frequently used. And then these APIs are not available in Node.js. So you don't have the document object model, you don't have the browser window, and those kind of APIs because they're only available in the browser. And in the browser, we don't have the nice APIs that Node.js provides. For example, in the browser, we cannot access the file system. You cannot get the folders and then the files that are available, or you cannot read and write files. But in Node.js, we have a standard library that is used to work with the file system. So that's a key difference in the way things can be accessed. And then here in Node.js, you can control the environment in which your application is running. So you can determine the version, and then uh, you can use the features that are available for that version. While in the browser, you cannot control which type the client will use. So they could use Firefox or Chrome, and those will be completely different versions. So you have no much control over that. But with Node.js, you can control the version. So this is what I've been saying, that you can have the new features in which the current version you are using supports. And then another difference is that Node.js supports both the CommonJS and then the ES module systems. So this has been happening since Node.js version 12. And then in the browsers, we are starting to use the ES modules. This in practice means that in CommonJS, you use require. And for example, in this little snippet that I showed you here, when we are using the require, this is called a CommonJS. And then the other option is to use the import and the import keyword, which we shall examine in the later parts of the video when we start write some bit of code. So this is it for this video. Going to see you in the very next one.